Good morning. It's Monday, August 19th. So what's going on? Well, let's see here. Did you see that last week they determined that Matthew Perry, 5 people are arrested? I guess one's a personal assistant, a personal friend, a couple of doctors, and a drug trafficker. Wow. Other things, maybe you don't know about this, but Ford is recalling 85,000 Ford Explorers, which I guess are specifically used by the police departments because they think that the engines can catch on fire. Don't want that happening at a high-speed chase, do we? And the other thing is the Olympics finally ended on August 12th. America won 126 medals, 40 gold. The next closest one, if we're counting the medals in the political arena and whatnot, China got 91 medals with 13 golds. So anyway, hey, let's get to today's topic. That's right. Today we're going to take a look at Illinois updates of availability of insurance to you with temporary policies and limited benefit plans. So let's first look at temporary insurance policies. Why would you buy a temporary insurance policy? After all, it's temporary. Well, traditionally, a lot of kids who come off their school's insurance and know they're going to be employed rather quickly want a temporary insurance policy to get them from the end of one policy to the beginning of the next policy. But that's also true if you're working and you've lost your group insurance and you know you're going to go on a new plan, you're looking for a job and you expect to find one quickly, so you want a temporary policy. And then you may want a temporary policy simply because you started with a new employer who says you could be up to 90 days without insurance. Why not get a temporary insurance policy? And one of the last things that I have happen, a lot of people who are turning 65 and going on Medicare in the first half of a calendar year will say, hey, why should I pay these marketplace premiums? Let's put me on a temporary insurance policy. These are some very good legitimate reasons why people want and need temporary insurance policies. So the question is, why would the state of Illinois eliminate these temporary insurance policies? Well, one reason is, do they cover the 10 essential benefits like marketplace plans? A couple of essential benefits can be things like preventative care and maternity. And the answer to that question is, yes, they do not cover these benefits. Wow! But however, most people don't buy these policies thinking they're going to cover maternity and preventative care because they are temporary. So I want to give you an analogy. That's like the government simply says, you cannot buy your Toyota Camry, your Honda Accord, because you know what? That Honda Accord and that Toyota Camry can't climb Mount Everest. The only thing you can buy is a Hummer. And you scratch your head and go, I don't want to climb Mount Everest. Too bad. Most other states have gone Illinois a step further. In Illinois, those of you who've had to purchase these plans know you can only have temporary insurance policies for 6 months. Most other states, if not all our states, I haven't done an exact count of them, will sit there and say, oh, we're offering at least 12 months. We've got to get you to the end of the year so you can get a marketplace plan. But some states even offer them for as long as 3 years because they're smart. They understand that people buy things for specific reasons for their specific situation. So come on, a lot of you know that life simply happens. You've purchased these temporary policies because you've missed open enrollment for whatever reason. You've missed a special enrollment because you lost your insurance for whatever reason. And we know life happens. A lot of you have sat across my desk, talked to me in Zoom meetings, talked to me on the phone, or had me sit across your kitchen table where these enrollment periods were missed for whatever reason because life happens. Now, one thing about temporary insurance policies to know is that there are typically 5 medically underwritten questions. Those applications are underwritten. They do not cover pre-existing health concerns. And these concerns usually come out during the application process. The other policy that they've eliminated is what we'll call limited benefit policies. These are policies that you have purchased because, once again, you've missed the marketplace enrollment period because life happens, whatever reason. But because Illinois doesn't allow you, like most other states, to buy a policy that can carry you through the end of the year if this is in the first half of the year. Because remember I said temporary insurance is only good for up to 6 months. So you buy these limited benefit plans. And you know what? They're really not all that bad if that's your option. A limited benefit plan works this way. It pays you a specific dollar amount for services rendered. What do you mean? Okay, so let's say you go to the doctor and your policy says, we're gonna give you $50. We don't care if the bill is 15 cents or 500 bucks. Here is $50. You go to the hospital, and I always like to sell the largest one because it's the best benefit one. Here's $5,000 for each day that you're in the hospital, for basically the hotel facilities of that hospital. Here's $5,000. We don't care if the bill is $1,000. We don't care if it's $10,000. Here is $5,000. Well, is that good? Well, I'm going to tell you this. When it's been applied and you stay in the network, most of those plans are covering about 90% of what the bill would be anyway. And you know, these premiums are typically a good bit cheaper. So, woohoo! Why wouldn't you want them? Well, and they do cover limited benefits on preventative care. You go in for your preventative care, here's $250. We don't care if your preventative care costs you $1,000 or 25 cents. Here's $250. The reason why they're not plans that you want to keep open-ended, meaning forever, is because they do not have a maximum out of pocket, meaning your expenses could go on forever and a day. Marketplace plans are typically this year capping off around $94.50. That's typical for marketplace plans. However, remember I said that you're buying these plans because you can't get a marketplace plan or it's inappropriate for your situation. So yes, of course, these plans aren't for everybody, but what they have done by eliminating these plans is for healthy people who can qualify for these plans. They have eliminated an option, a choice for you to have that would be in your best interest for your situation. I have less tools available to me to assist you. I do more telling people I can't help them now with the Affordable Care Act than I ever did before. And now with 2 fewer less options you will have more opportunity to not get the insurance that you need for your situation. So the option is going to be now, pretty much the only option is, you have to go to the marketplace plan. And those of you who are on the marketplace plan, you know what a hassle it is. You know you've got to go through all these questions, you get premium credits, you get subsidies, maybe yes, maybe no. Those of you who don't, you know how expensive it is, and you know that the insurance, unless you can get subsidies because you're low income, the policies are just not that good. The temporary policies, for what they were, actually provided better benefits for a lot of people. Okay, enough about that and all. What's going on at the MLD agency? Well, this past week we were able to work with a couple of groups on their renewals for their group health insurance, an individual with their commercial property and casualty insurance, and an individual transitioning into Medicare. That's what's going on at the MLD agency. Until next week, take care. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.